Cheers.
Cheers. Hi friends, it's been a while. I just wanted to pop in and welcome you to my vlog. I know that there were a few days in Portland which you just saw and you finished watching some of those b-rolls and clips. I had so much fun. Mark and I spent a few days with one of my good friends, Amelia, and her husband's house. Her husband wasn't there, but we stayed at Amelia and Steve's house, and she took us around Portland and it was a lot of fun. And then we hopped over to the Ace Hotel for a few days in the city, but now we're in beautiful Newport, Oregon. We drove up to Cannon Beach and drove down the coast, stopped by Tillamook for some cheese and had lunch there at their creamery, and then continued down the coast to Newport, Oregon. And I thought that I would share clips of the Airbnb and give you a little tour because it is absolutely stunning. It is beautiful. So I'm gonna flip you around. Look at this view. It is beautiful. This is just the patio deck. I can't wait to watch the sunset here tonight. And I love how open the windows are and you get so much natural light in. Stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Now let's hop in. Here's the living room. Got my Sporty and Spice hat. And there's a projector that pops down. We watched Anyone But You with Sydney Sweeney in it yesterday, and then we watched The War of the Planet of the Apes. Both great movies, and they have this beautiful foliage. These are all real, and they have little lights, so it looks really cool at night. This is our view from our dining room kitchen area. It's so lovely. Here are the books. I did a book haul, so I'll be sharing you all of the books that I read. We just stopped by White Rabbit Espresso and picked up some afternoon coffee and pastries. I'm going to read for a little bit. We are just going to hang out. We have happy hour plans at 4 o'clock, and I'll share my book haul and all of the books that I got. But just wanted to pop in and say hi, welcome to the vlog, and welcome to our Airbnb crib for one more day. We leave tomorrow. We're heading back to Portland. We're gonna stay near the airport because our flight is at 6 a.m. on Saturday, so it's very, very early. We just came in for a few days and it's gorgeous. Loving it so far, having a relaxing time. I'll talk to you in a little bit and share the books that I got from Powell's bookstore. Hi friends, it's been a few hours. Mark and I went to happy hour at this one little wine bar called Mural. It was by the dock, so we had a glass of wine and a cheese board and just enjoyed the view and each other's company. We came back to the Airbnb. We're going to spend the rest of the evening just relaxing, maybe watching a movie, reading, and the sun should set this evening, and I'm sure that is going to be a beautiful view. So we popped open a bottle of Nebbiolo, my favorite type of Italian red wine, and we're just going to spend the evening back at the Airbnb. Since we are here and not really planning on leaving, I thought it would be a great time to talk about all of the books that I got from Powell's bookstore. We ended up going twice just because it was right next to our hotel. We stayed at the Ace Hotel and it's a quick walk. And so we had some time to kill, and we got some coffee at their local coffee bar down there and just explored. Oh my gosh, Powell's is the largest independent bookstore in the United States, if you did not know, and it is located in Portland, Oregon. I believe there are 2 locations. We went to the one that was in downtown Portland, and I believe it's like 4 stories. I don't even think we got through all of the stories. It took over an entire block. Very massive bookstore. They have used books and new books, so it was really fun to pop in there. I had only been once, and that was back in college. I've been to Portland once before. I went with my good friend Amelia, who she lives here now, and another friend of ours. We took a senior year spring break trip to Portland, Oregon, and then a day trip to Seattle, a day back. So up and back down, but it was a lot of fun, and it's been fun being able to experience this with Mark since he's been wanting to come visit for quite some time. Let's get into the books that we ended up getting. I got quite a few books. Mark did get 2 books, so I'm going to start with the books that he got. The first book that he ended up getting is Godzilla and Godzilla Raids Again, so I think it is a 2 stories in 1. This is by Shigeru Kayama, and it's translated by Jeffrey Angles. He is a big Godzilla fan. He watches all of the movies. We're big Kong and Godzilla fans too. I really like Kong, and we've been keeping up with the movies. I believe there's a few I need to watch and rewatch, but he recently watched Godzilla -1. He loved it, and so we thought this would be a fun read for him. This was under the section of books you can read in a day, so bingeable one-dayer books. So I'm glad that he picked this up, but I'm trying to get him to read more. So hoping. Here's to hoping for that. And then we got him Spooky Oregon, retold by S.E. Schlosser, illustrated by Paul G. Hoffman. So this is just a book of tales of hauntings, strange happenings, and other local lore within Oregon. I think this would be fun to pick up and read over the fall during October and spooky season. It just says it just is tales of scary happenings in Portland and other areas within Oregon. There's actually one story, I think it's one of the first ones, about Newport, Oregon, which is where we're staying now. It has to do with the lighthouse that's located here in Newport. We did not go to the lighthouse after reading the tale. I don't get scared of things, but Mark gets scared of a few things. He doesn't like scary things. Yeah. So those are the 2 books that he got, and now I'm going to talk about the books that I got. But here, first, cheers to you and to me. It's so good. It's so smooth. If you haven't had a Nebbiolo before, oof, kind of on the pricier side if you go by the glass, but we ended up getting a bottle that we opened yesterday. It was $45, so a little bit on the higher end, and we loved it. This one is a Langi Nebbiolo. Just as good. Very delicious. I think it's about, the bottle's over there, it's like $24. So highly recommend. Try the Nebbiolo if you're into Italian red wines. It's just very smooth, and I love it. It's my favorite. Okay, so these are the books that I got myself. There are 9 books total. Well, there's one that I kind of got for both me and Mark. I'll start with that one. How about that? It is the first book to the Mistborn trilogy. This is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I have never read a Brandon Sanderson story before. I've been wanting to for a really long time. I really want to get into him. I've heard he's just the epitome of fantasy. He's fantastic, and his world building is just fabulous, so I'm very excited. I had been going back and forth between if I wanted to get the ebooks on my Kobo or if I wanted the physical copies, and they had all of the Brandon Sanderson books, and Mark said that he would read Mistborn as well, so I just decided I would get the physical copy for the both of us. So looking forward to going on my Brandon Sanderson journey. This first book that I ended up getting is called Brainworms by Alison Rumfitt. It just looks really gross, and I really am interested in reading a horror like this. The reason why I chose this because it was right at the front of the store under like their new bestsellers section, and I never heard of this book before or her other story, which is Tell Me I'm Worthless. This is a story about how there's a turf bomb that blows up at Frankie's workplace, and it blows up her life as well. Because of this, she tries to cope in her own ways with binge drinking, sleeping with strangers, and pushing away her friends. She ends up meeting a girl named Vanya, who is very mysterious, beautiful, and terrifying to Frankie, but Frankie can't let go. She is just enthralled by Vanya. Then the two hit it off immediately, but then their relationship starts to intensify, and there is this feeling that Frankie gets where she thinks that Vanya is hiding some secrets. Brainworms confronts the creepy reality of political terrorism while exploring the depths of love, pain, and identity. We're starting off strong with some gore. Grey Dog by Elliot Gish has been a story that I've been wanting to read for quite some time. I almost picked this book up in February when I went to Barnes & Noble. And I did a book haul then. This just seems like a horror novel that goes crazy and awry. So the year is 1901, and Ada Bird is our main female character. She ends up moving to an isolated town called Lowry Bridge, and she becomes friends with the people who work there, and she becomes friends with her neighbors. She's a part of the farming community. She is trying to run away from her past and deal with it in a way where she just wants to start fresh and move on and not think about what happened in her past. But then Ada begins to witness some strange phenomena and strange things. A swarm of dying crickets, a self-mutilating rabbit, a malformed fawn. She soon believes that something odd and beastly, which she calls the Grey Dog, is behind these visceral offerings, which both beckon and repel her. So I think that there's going to be some trauma that she deals with from the past, and it comes back to haunt her in some weird and disturbing ways. I love a book about female rage, and I think that this is going to deliver. Sisters by Daisy Johnson. This is a quick novel, pretty short it seems like, but I have seen this quite around bookstores and from friends who post about this online, and I just thought this was quite intriguing. This is about July and September, and their sisters are born 10 months apart. They're really, really close, and they love each other, and because of some bullying that happens during their teenage years, they end up moving away with their single mother to a long abandoned family home near the shore. And then at some point, there's some weird things that start to happen. A creeping sense of dread and unease resides in the house. So I'm not sure if this is very paranormal or what this is, but there's going to be some dark vibes. Chlorine by Jade Song, a highly anticipated book. And can we have a moment for the cover here? It's absolutely stunning. This is supposed to be a book similar to The Vegetarian, and if you do not know, I did not like The Vegetarian. I ended up finishing it with the audiobook, but it was not a very good time for me. I'm hoping that even though people are comparing this to The Vegetarian, I am just hoping that I will like this more. So this is a story about Ren. She's a swimmer. Her day starts at the pool and her day ends at the pool. That's basically her life, is being a swimmer and training, essentially. I think by the end of this story, she turns into a mermaid. There is mermaid though, so I think this is going to be about her slowly turning into a mermaid. So very similar to Night Bitch, if you read Night Bitch, or The Vegetarian, really, which was very weird and bizarre, and I'm not going to compare it to this story, so we're going to move on, but I'm looking forward to reading this. Hurricane Girl by Marcy Dermansky. Now, I solely chose this because of the cover. I love the colors. I love everything that's happening. I know nothing about this either, which is kind of nice, you know, when you just go in picking books based on the cover and hoping you'll end up liking them. This is about Allison Brody. She is fleeing from her movie producer boyfriend. She empties her bank account. She buys a house on the beach, but there's a hurricane that scatters her home. Down the shore, she finds herself adrift. Then there are these moral dilemmas she goes with. Should she go home from the bar with the strange cameraman and stay in his guest house? Is that a glass vase that he smashed on her skull? Can she wipe the blood from her eyes, get in her car, and drive to her mother's? Does she really love the brain surgeon who saved her, or is she using him for his swimming pool? And is it possible ever to truly heal without seeking some measure of revenge? This is said to be a gripping, provocative novel that walks a knife's edge between comedy and horror. I am looking forward to reading the story. If you've read this, let me know. I kind of am going in blind with this. I've never heard of it. I just sort of saw the cover and I picked this up. Cursed Bread by Sophie McIntosh. This is supposed to be intoxicating, sumptuous, and savage, and we love those adjectives. This is a story about our main character. Her name is Elodie, and she is a baker's wife. She is a plain woman. She takes care of her husband. She's ignored by her husband, and she just lives in this small town. One day, this charismatic couple moves in near her, and Elodie just kind of falls in love with this couple. I'm not sure literally or figuratively. We'll find out. When the couple moves in, weird things start to happen. 6 horses are found dead. Widows see their lost husbands walking up in the Moonlight River, coming back to claim them. A teenage boy throws himself into the bonfire at a midsummer feast. A dark intoxication is spreading through the town, and when Elodie finds Elodie, she finally understands her role in this town, it seems like it might be too late. This is giving me Midsummer vibes. If you've watched that movie, it's feeling cultish. I feel like the couple that moves in is not who they seem to be. Looking forward to reading this story. I think I'll really enjoy it. I also really like the cover. We're getting there. We have 2 more books. One of them is the first book in this series by Kennedy Ryan. It is called Before I Let Go. I ended up getting the second book during Independent Bookstore Day back in, I believe, March or April. I can't remember when that was exactly. And I had picked up the second book, and after I came home, I realized that it was the second and not the first. I did hear that they are interconnected standalones, so I don't necessarily need to read this first book, but I heard that you'll just really appreciate the characters a lot more since they are the characters from the first book are talked about in the second one. So that's why I really wanted to pick up this first book. So this is the first one in the Skyfall series, is what I believe it is called. Kennedy Ryan is a contemporary romance author, and I am getting into contemporary romance, and I have been really enjoying it lately, so which is why I picked up this first one since I already own the second one. Now, this is a scorching novel about hope and healing and what it truly means to love a lifetime from a powerhouse writer. This last book that I got is a book that I've been wanting to read for a very, very long time, and now I know that I am on my Expanse series journey. But when I finish the next science fiction saga, story, trilogy that I want to read is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. Is just supposed to be a out of this world science fiction story that also has to deal with the sun and moon, which I find to be very interesting. This is inspired by the civilization of the pre-Columbian Americas woven into a tale of celestial prophecies, forbidden magic, and crafted with unforgettable characters. I am excited for this epic fantasy, sci-fi fantasy. I think it's going to be very, very cool, and I've heard nothing but good things. All right, those are the books that I ended up getting from Powell's bookstore. I hope you enjoyed this video. I feel like it was a little all over the place with bopping around Portland and then heading to Cannon Beach, but I hope the footage was fun. I had a great time putting it all together, and I can't wait to watch the final product, and I hope you enjoyed as well. If you read any of the books that I have gotten from Powell's bookstore, let me know in the comments down below, and let me know if you liked them, and if you didn't, feel free to let me know as well, but be nice about it so I can kind of get my own thoughts and feelings for myself towards this book. I realize that sometimes I find that if I look at reviews before I read a story, other people's reviews kind of get into my mind and help me make my own reactions, and I want to get my own thoughts and feelings for myself towards a book. I'm going to leave this video here so I can spend the rest of our trip just relaxing and enjoying the final few days that we have here in Portland. I will hopefully see you next week in another video. Until next time, cheers and bye.